Sensei Eric Pearson here. We've known each other for like 12 years?
Yeah, 13, 14.
13, 14, yeah, it goes by.
Mm-hmm.
And he always brings new and interesting things to the center. Nick Lowry introduced us, and I can't thank him enough for so many things, but one of the biggest things is introducing us to Eric. So thank you so much for agreeing to come and play with us again, and they're all yours.
Cool. Yeah, why don't you make kind of a semicircle around here and get a little bit closer, and not everyone has to be that far away. Come on in. So
just around the blue rectangle.
Yeah, whatever. So, and yeah, this is what a great thing. It's just like, oh, Sensei, Grandmaster, Sensei, Supreme Grandmaster, Sensei, and Chuck. Anyways, I'm Eric. Brief background. I like judo, daikoru, aikido. Nowadays, I'm just. I've been working at the OSU, Oregon State University, teaching ground fighting for the past couple of years. So I think I'm aging out of that. I'm the okayest ground fighter, but it hurts. Anyways, I've been watching everyone here and thinking about what a wonderful thing that we've been to create, because everyone knows that Korean artists, Chinese artists, and Japanese artists always get along. And there's a long history of all that. But it really is kind of a dream that Jason and I have been talking about, and every time that we can, we're scooping up new artists that we think can mesh with this organization here. Because it's really kind of a unique thing, because you know what? Martial arts tend to be cults. Shut your eyes. How many of you have been in a martial arts cult? Yeah, okay, yeah. Wow, a good number of us. It's because it's kind of, they're made like pyramids. And this is kind of like a beautiful like Knights of the Round Table where once we can see each other, we don't have all these connections that we have. Anyways, it's a good, beautiful thing, and I'm glad. My job has been kind of outreaching to some of the Japanese-based martial artists to bring them in here. We have people talking about internal work, we have people talking about IT, we have people talking about Popkin. And I wanted to start off by saying I've been watching everyone this weekend and I'm really impressed. And I have a question to kind of give to you is what's the difference between this Aiki principle that we're shooting for in Jiu-Jitsu? And if you look it up on the internet, it'll make your eyes bleed because people have been asking this question and fighting about it ad nauseum for a long time. And since I'm talking, my opinion is the strongest. Right? We have a lot of people in here I know that have been asking this question. Jason and I have been talking about it forever. Of course, Bill Gray Sensei is I can tell, driving himself mad with his question. We have Christian Moses here that I know that he's been playing with that crowd that asked this question. And I think it comes down to the engine that's driving your technique, right? If you're using a lot of leverage-based martial arts, if you're, maybe lifting with your hips and judo-y kinds of stuff, that's jiu-jitsu. It's great. I am primarily a jiu-jitsu artist. I will admit it. When push comes to shove, I'm going to jiu-jitsu and I'm biting your face. That's what it with the next level of it, I kind of categorize these in traditional daitoru. They have the scrolls of achievement they give to certain people that hang out around long enough or pay the right money, right? The first one is the jiu-jitsu one. The second one depends on who you ask and which system. I like to call it the Aikido Jiu-Jitsu scroll. And the third one, according to Ole Kingston, like I said, it varies from system to system, is this concept of Aikido no Jitsu, right? And this is the stuff that really intrigues me. It's the stuff that I can't really do, but I like to hang out with people and watch as much YouTube videos or whatever else to try to glean what I can out of it. And it's a good, you got the little old guys, somebody touches them and they fall over, and you're like, until you touch some of these guys, and you're like, I want some of that. I want some of these power. And I see so many of the people in here beginning to talk about things in the correct way, I think, where we're talking about softness, we're talking about up and downs, we're talking about, Kenneth was just talking about spirals and everything else. And these are all words that I think are leading us to this place. I was kind of talking about it on my private forum, where I have a bunch of people that are shooting for this. And I was like, yeah, we're going to have a seminar in January, we're going to work on this. And it's like, well, what is it you're going to work on? They're like, well, show up and we're going to work on it. And they're just like, well, it's what, blind leading the blind. I'm like, well, actually, it just so happens that I worked at a blind school for 18 years. And the blind do lead the blind. Thank you very much. But you know what? I have nothing else to do except blindly search around for these particular parameters. And so I'm going to kind of express to you some of the ideas that I have. They're inherently incorrect because I'm still the blind, if you will. But about how to get to, because I'm also a magician. I want the superpowers. I'm sick of fighting. I just want to win. Jason, hey, I'm about to win.
I already won.
Because I've got the tape. All right, so one of the things that I find when I'm working with groups is like, well, where is your mind going to? Where is your target? And right now, I've kind of oversimplified my art form, but there's really, let's see, where's your belly button? It used to be in a different place. Come on. All right, we're going to think about the first target that I like to think about. Go ahead and face the crowd here. All right, and that is the hara, the center. Is that the dantian as well? I don't know. Is it all the same?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's the first place I usually go for. All right, so I'm working out with my buddy here. I'm offering my hands just like it happens in all street combat here. I offer hands like that, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly inflate a balloon between my hands, pull my thumb to my pinky ever so slightly. I'll explain maybe that a little bit later. I'm going to bend my knee ever so slightly while pointing towards that X. And now and also I like to kiss his forehead. And from here, we're connected now. Suddenly we go from two separate architectural units to one, which means now if I move a foot, something happens. If I extend my spine, we see a rise. If I draw an elbow back and move an elbow forward, I see a shift in him. Connection is super, super, super important as far as I'm concerned in this development of the Aiki. The Japanese word that I like, it's called masubi, or to braid together. It's also, I guess, a Shinto word that means like one with the universe, but okay, I'm cool with that. We can try that out. So what I want us to do for a second here, so if I'm not connected, and I try to do so, you can just feel it, we're not together. Open up your hands. This is called the morning glory flowers, asagao, right? Expand the balloon just a little bit, pushing out the wrists ever so slightly. Knee goes in, and now we're connected. That's the first step, as far as I'm concerned. Aiki 101, Eric's wrong version of it. Go ahead and give that a try for just a second, and we'll start stacking more things on top of it. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted you to do.
I hope you get a lot out of it.
So I know it wasn't very long. We're going to start stacking some other stuff, and I assume you were doing it wrong anyway. So it leads us to my second target. My second target is self-drawing. No. Well, really. So, well, it really goes kind of across there, but I'll split this into two here. And I really want these visualizations because you have to visualize this the whole time. Because every time I'm working out with some of my guys, I feel it when their mind drifts away from their target. If you try to shoot and everything's all lined up, but you're not looking at your target, you're not going to hit what you're shooting for. And our mind is going to different places within our partner's bodies. And so this is the shoulder girdle. And often, I'm really targeting the throat. But if I can get into the shoulder, I'm causing some problems for him. I'm creating an upwards motion in my partner. We were talking about this last night too. Leslie was asking, why don't you just take your hand away? It's because you're using it to balance. Now he can't really take the hand away because it's part of his support structure. Anyways, I just wanted to address that question. I had like a bottle of wine at that point. I didn't want to. Usually I would though, so you're right. So, boom, I'm grabbed. I inflate. I move towards the center, target number 1. I realize he doesn't fall over and die in my hands at this point, which is really my target, my goal. Then I have to go to step number 2. And that is, let's see, I'm going to rotate a little bit so everyone can see. I got 2 cups in my hand. I'm going to pour the cups out. Boom. This away. Rotation. I'm always going to offer somebody a circle at that point of connection. Right? So circles within circles within circles. Burn that into your brain if you like what I do. Boom. Right there. I offer him a circle. I went from center. And now, this is the hard part that most of you are really going to kind of suck at. Is I have to keep the hands where they're at, dig the elbows below, and hit Jason in the stomach with my elbows in order to get him all kind of jacked up. This is way more than I think you actually need for the technique, but we're learning something here. So here, balloon, fingertips towards belly. Elbows drop down, tries to scrape the floor, and now we're getting a rise into the shoulders. Oh, I forgot pouring out the drink part. So here, open, pour out the drink. See how pouring out the drink gets into the shoulders? Rotation, that's pretty dang cool. Also, I can flare out my elbows just a little bit, get underneath, and now he's all off the ground. Up, heaven, because that's where I'm sending. All right, this is crazy hard. It says not going there? What? So, all right. All right, so anyways, please practice this for a little while. This is remarkably difficult to do, though it shouldn't be. Hopefully that it's explained right. It should be easier for everyone. Give that a try for a few minutes. And rotate around and see if you can actually get it on somebody, because some people are just a pain to work with. So. So I'm not joking. This is, I think, probably, I can't figure out if this is the most basic technique and the idea of Daitoru that I'm shooting for, or it's most advanced, or both. I don't know, it's kind of being right. So, anyways, all right, where's my Jason at? So, right now, the way that we were working this was kind of the big way of expanding into here. Elbows out slightly, elbows up, and really, really jacking them up. It's probably unnecessary, because really my goal here is going to be, damn, you're supposed to fall, Jason. Now I don't know if he actually fell or not. Jeez. So, boom, enter in, get into the shoulders just a little bit. And we're going to do it, the thing that I did for a decade that I think was totally wrong is enjoying what a lot of these Daitoru guys do is boom, they jack the guy up and hold him there for a long time. What am I holding him up for? So, pop up, and then right back down. Now, if you can pop somebody's shoulders, even just that, that's really all you need. And all I'm doing is pouring out the drink and kind of launching my elbows forward a little bit. Probably a million other things, but for here, pour out the drink, hit forward with the elbows, and I'm in the shoulders. That's all you need. And now, we're going to take those drinks, and I'm going to pour it into his belly button. Right? So we're going up, and then back down. There's a concept in, at least Tomiki Aikido, it's called Hondo no Kazushi. And it means if you want to throw somebody one way, you throw them the opposite direction first, right? So if I want to, let's see, here, that was an awful throw, I blame you. So here, boom. If I want to throw them down, I'm bringing them up first. But I can't just drop everything in space. I'm throwing Jason this whole time. So, boom, I'm into him here. I've got a cup in my hand. I'm going to pour through the X, that's why the target is there, right down to the base of the hips. I don't want it to fall off the front of your belly. It's going through, and I'm getting up and over that problem. This is such a small motion, but it's super, super finicky, and that's what I've been working on so long. I'm still not so great at it. Here, up, over. Imagine your target. Always imagine where you're trying to pour energy, and I'm dropping it down through the hips. Oh, and it's getting low. He's getting lower, so I can bring my other foot forward, and I'm over the top of him. Over-explained, probably. But you'll be thinking in a second, I wish you paid me more attention, so give it a try. Okay, so anybody even vaguely successful a little bit, where they're like, maybe I can see that if I practice it for 20 years. Yeah, that's the way I am too. So I would kind of like to talk a little bit about more what's going in the body. A lot of the things I was explaining were the relationship between me and Jason's exes, right? I mean, not crazy ex. So now I'd like to talk about like kind of what I'm thinking about and that I'm trying to do. One of them is elbows, knees are connected, right? When you're using your body, if you're bending an elbow, a lot of times you want to be bending your knee as well. So I'm bending the elbow, bending the knees, putting my consciousness right there, because really elbows are leading directions of the technique and off balances, right? So I'm here, slight body crunch, and the angle of my spine is ever so slightly going to be coming forward and bowing. And now you're kind of bowing, because I don't know anything about that, but maybe it is. All right, whatever. You probably got it wrong. All right, so here, and now I'm going to turn the hands, spiraling like a screw out, offering a present. Oh, suddenly this present becomes an andal. It's the heaviest weight. And I'm putting my hands on the side of a pool and pushing myself up out of the pool, letting my spine extend as much as possible. So this, for me, like when I was doing, so when I was mostly just an Aikido guy, here, moving around. So how am I creating energy there? I'm doing it through movement of my center, through, oh, I'm sweaty, through footwork, right? Now I'm trying to create energy by expansion and contraction. Expansion and contraction. And the only thing that I can think of, and I'm not a mechanic or an engineer, but it feels like a piston to me going down, and each side of it, there's got to be like a piston that creates energy both ways, right? So anyway, moving up and down. And as I move down, as my elbows bend and my knees bend and I'm getting low, my partner gets high. Now I invented a new concept to explain this, and I call it yin and yang, right? So as I go low and I crunch a little bit, my knees and elbows attack underneath, my partner gets high. And as we switch places, I'm really trying to ride on the edge of that yin and yang. I'm letting him now, as I twist again, carry the weight of my arms, and I'm projecting my mind towards his center and out the hips, or through the hips, probably through the booty hole. Okay? I'll explain it again in a couple minutes. Here, let's cut out the going up part. Let's just do the poke to the center, turn up like you're presenting a book or candles or something like that, and pour a sheet of cookies into their lap. Right? Let's see if you can get the downwards. So downwards, upwards. That's pretty much all I work on. See if you can get something.
Don't pull back.
All right. How's everyone doing so far with this? Really terrible. Well, let's take this on. So far, we've hit pretty much 2 out of the 3 of the I see the primary shapes that we're trying to create. One of them is up, heaven. The other is earth, right? So we're either expanding, opening our bodies, or closing our bodies, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word for it. Contraction, expansion. And the other is rotation. And this is one that I find a lot of martial artists don't do a whole lot, but it's really easy. And we can do it with all kinds of parts of our bodies, spiraling. I went to a Christian seminar a couple weeks ago, and man, it was just like they had a little chart up, and there's little arrows going in every direction, and there's arrows hooking to here and here. You can do that? I can't do it yet, but I'll keep going to the seminar to try to figure it out, right? There's an old Chinese text I found recently where it's, a guy was ink painted, and it has like all these spirals going up the body, and I was like, oh, is that chi meridians? No, he's twisting. He's twisting things as he's going, right? And that's really useful here. Targets. All right, so because nothing ever works. All right, so I'm twisting, of course, when I'm going in here, I'm twisting this direction, trying to get it down, but I just found stability. If I draw a slight twist, draw one elbow back, one elbow forward, and suddenly I can find where he collapses. So now I'm upwards and downwards spiraling. Goldberg Sensei calls this like Walk of the Gods or something. He's got all these pictures of guys going like this, spiraling up and spiraling down. A lot of times I see it like the Karate Kid Part 2, where it's like, what is the secret of Miyagi family karate? It's this drum where the arms are going like this, right? And that is the secret of, I think, a lot. So Jason and I are slapping and fighting, whatever else. Boom, I got a lock. Yeah, crush into him. He's stable. It's not working. If I rotate just a hair, suddenly it works, right? So going into what we're doing here, touch the belly button. Pour a drink out. Rotate ever so slightly. Just drop your hands. So, and that's how we do it. So, touch the belly, drop the elbows, rotate the body. Notice slight rotation, that's just a hair of a rotation. And now I can collapse down through his center, pouring those cookies or drinks into his belly. The rotation, I think, is huge because anytime you find yourself in a relationship that's not working for you, alter the relationship, and I alter it through a little bit of rotation, and now I can get that downward spiral that I need in order to throw. So let's work on this way. Kiss the forehead, scratch the belly. Now, keep your fingers pointed towards the bad guy. And just turn and try to keep everything the same and see if you get an alteration. If you get that alteration that's working for you, pour through the center. If not, just keep working on the alteration. There should be no change. Oh, this is one thing I really wanted to bring up as a marker when we're trying to search for what is Aiki. I touch. We're at 1x pressure. This is the pressure we first touch with. If I go to 10x pressure, I'm not doing Aiki anymore. I'll probably do a form of jiu-jitsu. I might be able to take Jason with it. It's fine, but it's different. It's a different set of goals and a different set of preferences. Right now, as I'm touching, I want to keep those hands always at the same pressure, and as Jason tries to give me any hassle, I'm staying connected, rotating, see if I can find a weakness after, well, Jason's too good for me. But I give him a kiss on the forehead, the pressure never changed, and he goes down. All right, so anyways, I implore you as you're beginning to, and I'm sure Jason is going to be covering stuff like this, 1x pressure the whole way. I went up to 2x pressure a little bit because it's not my technique. But now everything stays the same. Keep the hands calm as possible and do your activation That's through a turn. I'm not increasing the pressure at all in my hands. Anyways, something to think about. So have them grab your hands and turn. Good try. Okay, so we're going to keep working on this in different ways. And one of the astute students out here challenged my wisdom building. And her question basically summarized was like, yeah, this is great and all, but what are we going to do with it? Right? I don't know if that's how you said it, but that's what I heard. Okay, in the Hapkido system here, you have number one, right? So for me, now that I'm approaching technique this way, what am I trying to do? I connect to the person. I try to go up, I cause rotation, I try to go down. All while thinking about the shoulders and the center pretty much the whole time. I'm not getting all crazy like, I'm doing a wrist thing here. I'm thinking, if I touch the wrist here and I think about your shoulders, what happens? Now that I have your shoulders, maybe I can take it to your center. I'm not really increasing any pressure, am I? No. You're not falling, and it really kind of irritates me, so I'm going to turn just a little bit and give you a place to fall to. And that's how this works for you. What's your number two technique? Yeah. Oh, I've never seen that before. Okay. So my thinking here, right, we're connecting. If I connect, I go right towards your center. That's the thing I like about the elbow nowadays. You can poke people right in the belly with it, because that was the first X. You remember that? So I got a stick to touch that first X, and now I can rotate a little bit. I don't even think I need to get up in your shoulders now, because if I just give you a slight bow because I respect you, that puts a lot of this pressure, the wrong bow again, but this is a very powerful force in the way that I approach it. All right, what's number three? What's number three? Nikyo, okay. Okay, all right, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna go in, up, turn, feel pretty good. And then maybe down your center to your feet, bump. That's pretty good. I didn't feel any change in pressure in the hands there. So one of the things that I think that I'm going to recommend as you're approaching your Hapki, Aiki, whatever you're calling it, is that the place of action only appears to be here. This is a connector. In the way that I'm approaching martial arts, this is never the effector. You felt that. That feels a lot different from what I was doing. Here, this is just a bridge between all of my activators. Aiki magic. Up, over, hiss, down, right? And the further away you can do stuff from the point of connection, the less your partner can actually feel. If they can't feel it, they can't fight it, right? Because their nervous system is looking for some sort of feedback in the usually in the proprioceptive nervous system. In each one of your joints, there is proprioceptors. They respond to pressure. Proprioception is your body's map of itself. Turn towards the audience, shut your eyes. Okay, you trust me. Okay, shut your eyes. Dude. All right. Take your right pointer finger, touch your nose. You have a map of your body, right? What we're doing when we're touching people softly and affecting them through things that are far away, their body's map of itself is a half a beat behind. It's going, oh, something's happened to me and I'm still working on mapping it. And I know if you've ever had a massage from her, you know that she has stronger hands than anybody in here. If I try to crush the wrist, it's uncomfortable, but you can definitely fight it, right? Yeah, so here, soft touch, turn, down, suddenly you fall over. Take your point of activation further away from here. I'm not twisting the wrist. I'm connecting my center person. And now I'm using rotation and the idea of going up and down, casting a wave through my partner, as opposed to cranking the wrist and everything else. Is that kind of what it feels like? Good. Okay, let's work on another technique. I got to work with Yoshi Shibata the last time I came up here. And here's a technique that I thought was kind of cool to play around with anything. Okay, so I think it's an Okamoto sensei technique. I don't think I've seen any videos of Okamoto sensei doing it. But the first thing is, where was one of the first targets? It's either there or across the shoulders, right? So I want to be able to boom, get into the shoulder, and then I'm going to think down, oh, where is it? Hips, whatever else, and now I'm going to think down into the hips. And so we're going to try to cross the body here from here, and my mind is going to go down across here to the back of the foot. So here, the action is a quick drop the elbow, let the hand come up, and then, I don't know if you're sword cutting or whatever else, maybe you cut a sword, but I'm really trying to think up to the shoulder and across the center line, and then back to that back heel. It's gonna be very, very, Yoshi was like, I don't know, this big, and I was like, oh, have you heard of this technique? And he dropped me right on my butt several times. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. So I think I like this as a principled kind of technique because A, shoulders, and then cutting down into the feet, it's cool. Yeah, hopefully I'll make a cool video or something. I invented it. No. Give it a try, see what you can do. As light as possible. Think into your partner's body. Think into the shoulders and think your mind down into the foot as well. Okay, let's look at something else. So one of the things that I'm trying to express to you about my perception of Aiki, and as I'm trying to move towards this Aiki no Jutsu level, I'm not there, I'm still at Jiu-Jitsu, is that you really have to figure out where your targets are. You need to move into the shoulder, you need to move into the hips, you need to move, I heard Kenneth talking about it pretty much nonstop. Oh, did I tell you about the technique that Kenneth just did on me? It was one of the most awful techniques I've ever felt, in a good way. He did that Shibata lock or whatever else and had me squirming and wanting to die. And then this glistening bead of sweat came off of his forehead and fell right into my eye.
Straight shooter.
I felt like part of my soul died that day. Anyway, so I noticed that he was teaching you a technique wrong, so I'm going to correct it here. So, can I use Lisa?
Yeah, and you're doing some Voldemort stuff on me as well.
What?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to sweat your eye. Okay, so we were doing this technique, and he was doing a little bit of this like fascia fold thing here, whatever else. And my take on it, I mean, it was great. It was fine. He threw me, which is fine. Is I view techniques as I go around the body. I connect to the body, and I move around. Probably just what he was saying about like moving fascia and whatever else. I just had never thought about it in those terms. I tend to think about it as like waterfalls and reaching into people's back pockets. Because I mean, that's why I'm fighting people anyways, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get the wallet. So a lot of times, I'll touch the pectoral muscle and I'll imagine just sliding up and over. And I'm going to try to slide into his back wallet or try to go all the way to the ground here. So if we're here and we're scrapping, it doesn't really matter where the arm is. Here, and I'm crossing over the body. Right there. And I think this is a really, really useful thing, because no matter how we're fighting, this is how we do it here in the States. We pour, I like to pour over, and the whole time I'm not throwing the person. I am offering energy around the body while trying to stick and drag as much of his chest hair with me or something like that, right? On this one, I came over, I'm not staying, if I do it there, it's not gonna work. I'm always crossing over the center line. So if I'm here, I'm crossing over the center line as I go. If I'm here, I'm crossing back over to the center line there. And it works really well. You can do it also from the head. You're just moving around the body while sticking to it. Can you do that? Any questions, comments, concerns? No,
Wonderful.
yeah. Wonderful. That's the feedback I was looking for. Problem. I mean, I know I explained it perfect, but sometimes people don't. All right, so if I can do somebody. Matthew, come on, I haven't gotten to. All right, so I saw one person. I think that they were kind of doing this.
Yeah.
There's like, so when you stick, I'm taking that pec and I'm dragging your pec all the way across to your back. It doesn't take a lot of force, and it doesn't matter if it slips a little bit, but you're just sticking. So Lowry Sensei often talks a lot about the amount of pressure you need in order to successfully move somebody. And that is if you grab your own skin on your arm, pull your skin up to where it stops. Well, that is the ideal pressure that I've never gotten to. But here, I'm going to try it here. Oh, no, I increased the pressure. Should have probably practiced this before. There. So you can move around somebody, just stick to them, move the skin, and now you should have the ability to ideal pressure. Very, very light. I don't quite have it myself. Sometimes I do. So we were playing around with sticking there. You can also, this is a Zdenek Matl judo technique that I really love, is same thing, make a circle here and shoot to the back. Here, so here, circle up, down, push it right towards that back heel. Another thing that he does when he's doing judo though is comes here, does that, and then grabs that leg, so you have that, it doesn't really matter. I think that this, I've seen videos of Okamoto Sensei coming here and doing this, like walking and like knocking 15 people around. Yeah, I'm not there yet. Here, cool, so circle, and remember where you're trying to get into, you're trying to cut right across those hips. Alright, give that a try, keep doing whatever you're doing. Oh, somebody's up there?
Can you wait
looking down? Hi. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple more versions. I'm going to give you like a more full version of Matl Sensei's. Put your hand upon your hip, right? So as I step out this way, cut across that hip, and then take a bow. Boom. And that way, now I'm ready to do all my arm bars and whatever else, right? So that's one way. Now, Freeman Sensei. It's an awful lot like a Daitoru technique that I don't remember the name of.
So, Uno Toshi, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, of course. A little different. Mine's better. So here, you can rise up, spiral down. You can connect to the arm, cut the hip, take a bow. These are all kind of neat strategies. I think this is a great position. Once you get really comfortable with this technique, it's pretty good. So, and also, you have your Osoto guard, which is really the freaking money of all martial arts, I think. It's really what we should probably just all be practicing all the time. Anyways, I'll give you a couple more minutes of that, and then I'll slow us down so we can hopefully dissipate some of the sweat before the next session. We'll do a little bit of Suwari Wazi here in a second. All right, cool. We'll try. Okay, stop. Sorry, I'm moving a little faster than I normally like to, but you guys are sweating too much and it smells disgusting. Slow down, yeah. Your fault? Okay. So I want to show just kind of one version of it, or these couple techniques. So again, this is really painful. So a lot of times when I'm doing knife work, I like to drop low in the armpit, try to get a upwards motion, and then get this downwards motion with the knife. And I really find for these Aikido techniques that I'm trying to develop, using a knife is great because it gets you out of gripping. Instead, you're cutting through. So even with this particular technique, cutting through all the way into the back pocket, so you can slide around people as opposed to trying to fight into the body of the person. And both are useful, but a lot of times, especially if you're fighting somebody that's, a grandmaster person, if I try to fight into your body, everything locks up real quick. But if I go around the body, I can be a little more convincing. So anyways, let's slow down a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of Sawari Waza. So, everyone that's been to my seminar before, I say this every time. I always do this at every seminar, but I think it's really, really useful. And it's learning to understand the planes and what you can get away with when people are trying to grip. A lot of times, when we're gripped, our mind goes right into those strong, crushing hands, and that's what we fight. But really, I can move so many places. I'm free to move. And we're going to learn about planes real quick here. Slide your hands on the ground. Okay, wash the ground. Okay, now, your partner puts his hands down. You're not very good at holding you there. That's weird. A little bit better holding me, but I can try to turn around. Okay. So anyways, just do that a couple times on the ground. And then, go ahead, move your palms to your knees. Hold me down. You slide your hands, so we're going to stick just with our hands on the body right now. Wash your body, like I said, it's getting a little smelly in here. Wash your body. Hussey Sensei always had this gag that he liked to do. He'd keep his cell phone in his pocket, so sorry, I pulled it away. Grab his cell phone and check it, and then show it to the person. But right now, yeah, just see how free you can be, and have your partner crush you a little bit. Even just like washing my body, suddenly I'm developing Aikiage. I wasn't even trying. I was just bringing my hand up to my pectoral muscle, right? And suddenly I'm getting techniques. And I think that's also a really good secret, is making poetry or other ideas about what's motivating your motion, where you're having solid motion within yourself and people fall around you. I think that's a cool approach to martial arts in general. So right now, wash my knees, keep my palms on the body, and then I can do a little rotation. And that's all I'm doing. So play around with that for a few minutes, and I'll give you a little tidbits to make this even stronger. Thank you so much. So that was the easy part. Now the hard part begins. All right, so can you do this by myself? I mean, I could do it by myself. It's just not as impressive looking. Okay, so this is where we get. Oh, okay. He looks skinny, but he's really strong. Okay, so I can move my hands pretty freely, but once I get here and I turn my palm towards the bad guy, I'm not saying you're a bad guy, but I'm not saying you're. Then suddenly I'm in his power line, right? Okay, so Japanese word for this is
Shuto.
no. What?
Tegatana?
Tegatana. Well, it's yours right, but I mean, I was looking for Tegatana. So it can also be pinky. Ooh. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to cut, and I'm going to use a knife here to show this first. So I bring this up here. And if I try to get this into you, it doesn't work, because I need to cut this bridge of power you have away. So I just turn the blade up to you. And I didn't actually touch you with the blade, but look how your structure broke. So now I can get you. We're doing the exact same thing with the Tegatana, is I'm turning the pinky all the way so I can cut the forearm, and now I can move up to the person. So, boom, his ability to resist my powers has been cut there. And now I just slide my palm like I was along my body, cut, slide it along his body, cut, slide it on his body, slide it on my body, and he's really trying to make me look bad here, but it can't be done.
That's not too hard.
So this is the really challenge. So here, you got to drop your elbows a little bit in here too. So anytime that your elbows get far away from your body, you're losing power. From what I can tell, and I hate to speak for it, a lot of the Chinese internal stuff that I've seen, a lot of the Daitoru techniques that I've seen, the good people, they always bring their elbows to the body. Open up, cut the arms, slide the hands along the person, and lift it. Your results will vary. Give it a try. Okay, let me give you a little bit of another little tip on this one. By the way, I heard somebody over in this corner said, "This is the best technique of the day." Sorry, other teachers to talk. All right, so I wouldn't want to go after me. All right, so anyways. Let's take the same concept of the Teigatana. So I'm going to use both hands on me now. Dang it. Of course, I mean, usually I'll probably just get to whack in here, but we'll assume that I'm saving babies and whatever else that it is that I do, right? So now I'm going to cut one hand, cut the other hand, and slide it through. So you can, it's pretty easy to do this with a knife. So go ahead, no, not you have a knife. I would never give you that. Go, holy, cut, cut. And you're able to work your way through. Do I need to rotate as we go here? So serve. So cut. I'll just put my hand here to make sure I maintain that cut that I have. Cut. My elbow comes down. His goes up because of that yin yang concept I said. And one more. Turn the blade. Turn the blade. Oh, I forgot to show how this works today. Here, same thing. Teigatana. Teigatana, up and cut. Rotate your body for execution. One more time. Cut, cut. Now this is also the hardest way to do this. All the techniques we've been doing, anytime that you go, grab my hand, be strong. Don't ever do that. I mean, you can do it in the dojo just so you can work on stuff, but here, if you start moving, the second that your arm hair gets touched, this all becomes really, really easy, which is what you want. So anyway, just throw that in, work it all the different ways, you just got a little lot of that.